Happy January 15th, 2024 on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Thank you guys for joining us on this TT's Clubhouse. And please help me welcome Mr. Robby Snelling to the show.
Appreciate it. I'm excited to be on here.
Robby, what up, man?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Bro, I just appreciate you taking the time, getting a chance to catch up a little bit, kind of see your face, hear your voice, and kind of see what you've been up to, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, just got back to Arizona last week on Sunday, or Monday, and I mean, it's back to work after the short off season.
Back to work, man. Okay, before we talk about work, let's give some love to MLK on this Martin Luther King Day. It's been all over sports, at least in my TV, watching NBA and some NFL. What's up with Martin Luther King? What does it mean to you in your upbringing?
I mean, growing up, it was just kind of like giving back, like your whole thing, and especially today, like we got our schedule, and it was kind of an abbreviated schedule for catch play today, and just a little message that said, MLK Day being about giving back and just give back to the community. It's super easy to do, and I mean, it's always it's nice to think about that. Just giving back to the community and what it can do for not only you, but everybody else that's in it.
I 100% agree. Giving back is something I pride myself on to do, whether it be on a big platform or your own individual platform, it just matters. Talk about your community growing up. You're from Reno, Nevada, correct?
Yep. Reno, Nevada. It's like a mini Vegas almost. A lot of people think it's right by Vegas, but it's up in the north corner. So, we yeah, I mean the community I grew up in. I mean, it's the biggest little city in the world, and I mean it's not everybody knows everybody, but when you're kind of in the sports world and around the community as much as I was growing up, you know a lot of people, and so being able to give back, and especially once sports became really prevalent in my life, and kind of that's what I was doing and what I planned on doing for you know throughout the rest of my life. I was able and fortunate enough to give back to younger kids once I was getting older, and it's awesome to see what I can do with that.
I mean, I knew when I first met you, there's something special about you. Everybody seemed to be like, man, you got to look out for this Robby Snelling guy. He's going to be so good, so this and so bad. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I don't know if you believe me or not. I don't really follow like you guys as far as like how you guys are ranked or evaluated on the field. I just kind of let my heart do the gravitating towards. And I remember when we first met, man, you had this presence about you that screamed, I want to be next to that guy. And a little bit what you shared right now kind of reassures me that you have that give back mentality. So I always appreciate that, man.
No, I really appreciate that. I think that's one of the best compliments a person can get. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you got that perception of me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember also on Thanksgiving, it's that time of year where you get messages from family and friends, or you take the time to give messages to family and friends. And you're one of those first messages that I received from. And it made my day, man, just to, check that phone or, disconnect in a sense and to read that personal message that you sent, man, it meant a lot to me. So I appreciate what you do for not just the fans, but for the people that, support in other ways. And I hope that continues to be part of your legacy in a sense.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that made your day. It was something that had been kind of on my mind since the end of the season, and you know things move so quick, like you said before the show when we started talking. Just that I got moved up fast, and it was like kind of took everybody by surprise, including myself. And so I felt that I wasn't able to give you that thanks that you really deserved for everything that you did for me while I was over in Lakey.
It's all good, man. I mean, just again, the things that you do that not everyone thinks about matters, and it stuck with me. So I'm just thankful that we have a relationship and we have this time now to catch up. And I like to kind of live vicariously through you guys as far as like, what it's like to be a professional baseball player in a sense, because again, like believe it or not, in my background, I never got to that level, and I've only been around it because I obviously serve you guys in the clubhouse role.
Right.
But I come across different types of players every year. And what is it like for you being in the position that you're in as far as being named minor league pitcher of the year? And you're a dude, so like, what does that come with as far as the responsibilities?
I wouldn't say that it really just, I wouldn't say it changes the responsibilities at all. I mean, I was really fortunate to have a really successful season this last year. And I mean, I really honestly credit it to the guys that I was working out around, the clubhouse guys that were taking care of everything, my catchers that I had that were able to, maneuver through games with me. And it was a really great long year. And it doesn't change anything about weight that anything holds. It's just it's a normal season, and you're just one of the other guys that's out there playing baseball. And yeah, you really just try not to think too much about it.
Right on. See, like you mentioned something about your teammates, and I'm new to social media. I dabble a little bit. I see you post on your stories, and the one thing I noticed about you is if you're not playing baseball or working out, you're more likely golfing.
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
I think
and
that when I was in Lakey, you hooked me up with a few rounds. So I mean, that was definitely a big thing that I picked up doing once I got to pro ball.
and that's good, man. It's that work life balance, because we talked about again like work and like how you getting back to it, and this is your job, and although it's a very unique job, you still have to put some more time and effort regarding like that work life balance. Explain maybe more for like the younger kids watching, that are finding their way of pursuing a high school or college career, about how important like that work life balance is as far as turning it on or turning it off.
Oh, it's super important. I mean, like a big thing that people say is you can't bring, the sport that you're playing, you can't bring it home with you. Too much. You can't bring the negatives home with you. Which I mean, you don't want it to fill your head and stress you out when you're at home, when you're supposed to be relaxing and kind of debriefing from everything that you go through at work. And I mean, I feel like that goes with not only playing baseball or playing a sport and in a profession. It goes with everything, with a desk job or any job that anybody can have. Like you don't want to bring the negatives home with you, because that can really reflect on the people that you're living with. So I mean, especially for me, if I were to bring negatives home, it affects my roommates, which creates a toxic environment for living, and that's no fun for anybody. So I think getting away and being able to do other things, hanging out with your buddies, going golfing, in my case, going out to the lake, and just doing something that gets your mind off of your job.
Well, I definitely can commend that, because I mean, as a adult who works in sports and puts on a lot, I feel like I put a lot on my plate regarding like working and whatnot. I find it difficult to find that time to put work aside and like put personal in front. Um, and especially in sports, because like it's an addictive thing that you want to always continue to be a part of in any other aspect. What do you say like is one of your biggest challenges as a professional athlete and like maneuvering through life?
I would say a big thing. I'm a real big perfectionist on especially like my job. So like you're saying, it becomes addicting when you get to a point where you're right on the cusp of doing something, but like you didn't do it that day. So you ponder over it, for as long as it takes until you get it. And I've made the mistake of that of being frustrated for not getting it, right then and there, because growing up, some things did come like that to me. It was like, oh, I want to do this, I do it. But even now, so I feel like everything is so much more fine tuned in everything that you're doing. Yeah, everybody that is playing this sport is really good, and so you're trying to figure out the little things that you can do that little noise, background noise. You're trying to figure out the little things that you can do to put yourself above everybody else. And it's not going to happen right away. So the huge thing for me was really being able to kind of, if you don't get it done that day, you put it to the side and be able to go back to it and revisit it the next day, and keep doing that over and over again until you can figure it out.
You mentioned earlier the people you surround yourself with as far as your roommates. We talked earlier today about Lesko and Villar being your roommates right now.
Yeah.
What does he watch? He's watching the Heat game right now. You said.
He's watching the Heat game, I think. Yeah, they won. So he's pretty excited. I don't know what he threw down on the ground, but
Tell him to relax. The Heat are not going nowhere this year. It's
yeah.
gonna be anybody but the Heat.
Did you hear him? He said they're not going anywhere this year.
He's not telling me he's not a guy that's very negative, so I don't hear his negative.
He said he doesn't want your negativity.
Well, speaking from a Lakers, you're speaking to a Lakers fan, so like that's the only reason I'm coming at the Heat that hot. So, excuse me, Mr. Villar. um, Speaking of Villar, do you play? You played with him this year, right? He was also with us
Yeah,
in Lake Elsinore. He moved up to Fort Wayne, and you was able to play with him as well, right?
absolutely. Yeah, he was my catcher for the majority of the time in Fort Wayne, as well
That's,
as Lakey. Yeah.
I'm such a fan of him as well. His cool little Jeep. Is he still have the Jeep out there?
Yeah, well, actually, funny thing is he's gonna take my truck here in a second. He's gonna go pick his Jeep up from the field. It just got here today.
Oh, nice. Did somebody take his ship his car out, whatever?
Yeah, yeah,
And Lesko's there. What's up, Lesko? How's he doing? He's all right?
he's good. He's just chilling on the couch.
I got to get him out there on the show, whatnot. Catch up with him as well. You guys been balling some pickleball or what?
He's been playing some pickleball. I'm big golf guy, but I mean, we played pickleball when we came back to the strength camp in the fall, and I mean, I played a lot when I was in high school, so it was pretty easy to pick it back up. But I think we're gonna start playing here pretty soon. Once Lesko's car gets out here, so.
Well, good. I want you guys to continue to play that because I don't know if you caught on, but last Veterans Day we had a charity pickleball tournament.
I saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun, man. We had Wyatt and some other dudes come out. Fred Shitsos the Pods.
Yeah,
Tom Cosgrove in the big
that's
leagues was
awesome.
out there.
Yeah.
Jay Young, the big league strength coach. I mean, we had quite a bit of people show up and support it, and looking to do something again with you guys involved, perhaps in Peoria before spring training or something.
That would be awesome. I think we would all enjoy that a lot. It'd be a lot easier to get everybody in the same area too.
Yeah, I've been thinking about talking to other guys, like talking to some of the other guys like Kai Murphy and whatnot, and I'm thinking about planning it next month where I go out there for a week and we'll just have some fun and we'll tie it to a charity or something like cool for the kids and maybe do like a back to school drive or something like that.
That would be awesome. That would be perfect.
Yeah, some of that to that nature. Um, Look at Wyatt's on the podcast listening. He did dominate. Wyatt, I have to give you credit when credit's due. Wyatt Hoffman did dominate in pickleball, and my money's on him to be honest. But I heard that Jay Bashir's got game too, huh?
Jay is really good. Yeah.
Um, well, what else has been going on as far as like being back home? I know Reno has been pretty chilly as far as the weather wise. How was that for your off season? Did you get a chance to have any special moments?
I mean, yeah, I mean, hanging out with my family and my girlfriend and her family, like all those moments are special. So, that was definitely nice, and it was long overdue. It's the longest season that I ever played in baseball. So, being able to get back home and hang out with them and kind of be back to what I had before pro ball was pretty awesome to get back to. But then it was different because I had to start ramping up again to come back out to Arizona and be ready for spring training. So like you said, it was getting pretty cold, so I didn't really throw outside at all in a facility, and really trying to figure out how to work around not being able to be outside and long toss on a field and do all the different things that you would do outside compared to being in a facility and playing baseball. So But other than that, the holidays were great to be with the family. Went to California for Christmas and visited both sides, both grandparents, aunts and uncles and cousins, and it was great to see all of them. And came back home and was able to spend my time with my girlfriend and do our Christmas with her family, and it was awesome. We got everything in.
That sounds like an eventful off season so far. I mean, you got a chance to do see both sides of the world and make sure to include your family. So that sounds dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know another connection or thing that we had in common was our genuine love for giving back, and not just our own way, but also in the special needs way. Um, why has that been something important to you?
I mean, it's just so growing up, when I was in elementary school, there was a kid that, had special needs, in my fifth grade class. Or, I mean, he'd always been around me, while I was growing up in elementary school, but he was in my class in fifth grade. And we really kind of struck up a friendship. And it wasn't like a friendship where I felt that I needed to look out for him. He was just, he was somebody that I enjoyed and kind of, like you said, gravitated towards, and enjoyed helping out. And so it was a great friendship. And it's actually kind of funny. He got back into town this last off season, and I saw him at I think we were at a boba restaurant with my girlfriend, and he was in there, and big smile on his face. It was awesome. It's great to see like the impact that you can have and how long it can carry, with even being kind of removed for a few years and not seeing each other for a while. So that was pretty awesome.
I love to hear that, man. Like it's being in professional baseball, not just on the baseball side of things, but on the front office side of things, the sales. We're always complimented to not sell the game, but to sell the memories and experiences of the people they meet. So to hear
Yeah.
you kind of share that testimonial, how it applies in your own life, makes it that much more special to be a part of it from my end, because it matters, man. The people who support us along the way, whether it be family or friends or the fans, without them, I don't think any of this would be possible as far as pursuing entertainment for a career, and
Right. Exactly.
love that. And another aspect of Serve First that I want to make sure that I include you on is having more of the opportunity to use your platform to vocalize the importance of giving back. Just like we said earlier in the show, Martin Luther King kind of setting the way for us as far as making the change to bring people together despite our differences. Um, what are some things that you hope to see from yourself in your as your career grows in ways that you can continue to impact the fans and just people around the world in general?
So a huge thing for me is, that I really tried to kind of work on this last year, was, like you see it, especially when we are in Lakey, like especially when Salas came when we were in Lakey, and like the guys that are asking for autographs and everybody that's outside, and I kind of put myself in their shoes, and I'm like, how long is somebody gonna want your signature? Like it's pretty crazy that people value that and really put a high value to it. So, as annoying as it can get, and you're it's been a long day and you're walking out from the field and you're ready to go home. And they're out there and you see them and you're going to get bombarded by people, and you really just want to go home. I worked really hard towards the end of the season this last year, to realize, people aren't going to want your autograph forever, and so it's pretty cool to have that feeling of people wanting you, and it's something that you can impact them and potentially make their day. Um, I really tried to work on just stopping and taking in those moments and signing for people and making conversation and hopefully impacting somebody just by them seeing that I took my time out of that night, and to be able to do that for them.
Bro, I love that. I love that so much. That fires me up. That fires me up. That.
Yeah.
I challenge you to continue to take that moment to give back in ways like that to strangers. Even for those like at a store or whatnot. And
Right.
I, and I know you're about that. So like continue to do those things because it's always those random moments where people always remember, like, man, like I needed that high five, or I
Right.
needed to pick me up in a sense. Um, so I continue to challenge you to do those things because, I would appreciate that, not knowing you,
Yeah,
but
absolutely. I mean, it's something that's not all people see, the reasoning behind it, but it is definitely important and special to certain people. So you got to kind of cater to both sides.
have you ever thought about like what would happen in sports if there was like, I mean, obviously with COVID, it was an eye opener. What would happen with no fans? Like
Yeah,
there'd be no sports in general because we couldn't afford it,
no
whatnot.
money. Yeah,
Yeah, but do you really think about that? Like, dude, like this game is evolved around the support of the fans, and the consumption of the game as far as like the revenue that comes in. Like, do you think about that?
exactly. Yeah, I have actually. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous how you know baseball in general, just multi-billion-dollar business. And it's crazy that how much of it is funded by fans and the different events that teams hold and that just MLB holds in general. It carries a lot of weight.
America's pastime, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
America's pastime, yeah, it's like one of those things that I feel like is still far behind like the spectrum regarding like utilizing all these other platforms and avenues as how other sports are doing it, especially like the NBA. I mean,
Right.
growing up, I mean, who is some of your favorite players growing up?
So we were a 49er family. So I was a big Vernon Davis fan. When I was growing up, he was a tight end for the 49ers. And big football family too. So we just watched a lot of football. And then baseball wise, kind of gravitated towards Bryce Harper. Just he was a Nevada kid, and it was just he was electric, and I feel like he really brought that the energy to the game that it didn't really have before. So, really those two kind of molded my childhood in sports.
See, that's crazy. Like, so I know exactly who you're talking about. I mean, I'm 38 years old, right? So
Yeah,
like Vernon Davis, yeah, I know who Vernon Davis is. Like
yeah,
he was like the first like tight end that was like not really a tight end. Like he was just like
right. He
that
could do
speed.
everything. Yeah,
Who was this quarterback in those times? Like was it Kaepernick?
yeah. Kaepernick. Yeah,
Yeah, he was throwing the ball. I mean, could have, should have, didn't do it though.
yeah, yeah. That's a different story.
Um, you played football, right?
I did. Yeah, I played football in high school and growing up.
Yeah, that's the one of the things that I know someone. Forget who it was. It's like someone in the front office or something. Like, hey, do you know Robbie actually played football and was like offered a full scholarship to LSU? Is that true?
Right. So I had a few scholarships. I think it was more on the baseball side, and then I'd be able to play football for LSU. But other than that, I had a few offers to play football and baseball at the other schools. The LSU offer kind of came from baseball pretty quick, and then they were in the middle of a coaching change for football, and so the coach that got hired at LSU after Coach O got fired, he was at Notre Dame and he was recruiting me at Notre Dame. And so he was like, "Hey, you're already committed here for baseball." So it was a pretty cool, kind of turn of events and how everything kind of matched up that way.
That's cool, man. I'm sure that was like a little gnarly as far as like that experience of the roller coaster and not
Yeah,
knowing what
it's
to do.
it's definitely a roller coaster. I mean, coaching changes are crazy. So, I mean, it wound up working that way. So,
Are you following like the whole college portal and all that stuff? Because like right now it's like musical chairs going on, right?
it's hard to follow it, honestly. It, like you said, I mean, it's everybody's going all over the place. I mean, I do think that some guys use it to their benefit, but I also think that a lot of guys abuse it. If they're at one place and they don't get playing time for the first year that they're there, it frustrates them and they're ready to leave. I think it allows guys to pull the trigger a little too quick, but I mean that's just kind of my opinion.
I mean, I'm a fan. of college sports, and anytime I get a chance to see another player that is really good, NFL good, use that
Yeah.
platform to go ball out for another team, I'm down for it. But it just seems like a whole nother like NFL, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I mean that's what I'm saying is that's the type of kids that it benefits that can go into the portal and they're trying to boost their draft stock, but then there's other kids that go in there, they kind of clog it up with, transferring four times throughout, their 4 years of college. I think it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's getting a little much for me to keep up with, but hey, it's entertainment, and I can't wait for next year's college football, like basically like bracket, right?
Yeah, exactly. College football playoff.
I mean, it's gonna be cool, man. I mean, I would have liked to see Florida State get a chance to go play against Alabama or something. It'd be kind of
Right.
fun to watch.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, good to see it next year. You been keeping up NFL or what? The playoffs?
Just a little bit. We've been watching games here and there at the apartment. I'm a 49ers fan, like I said, so I'll be pulling for them next week. Dylan's a Packers fan, so that'll be
Wow.
yeah,
Let's
that'll be
go. Ooh, Packers versus Niners next week, I think,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
I cannot wait to troll you guys on that one. I'm gonna I'm gonna do
We'll
something for you
see.
guys.
We'll see. I think he's already kind of said that they're going to get their butts kicked next week, but we'll
No,
see. They
no
they
way
sur-
he
they
said that.
surprise people. They surprise people with the Cowboys this week, so we'll see.
I was happy for that quarterback love. He balled out,
Yeah,
man. Good for
I was
him.
too. I was too.
It just kind of made me think about where's Rogers at.
Right? Yeah.
um, what would you if you didn't play baseball? I know it sounds silly, but like if you didn't play baseball, what the heck would you be doing, bro? What do you think?
Probably be playing football.
Or no sports and no sports.
No sports. I mean, I'd be going to school for sure. And I mean, where at? I'm not sure because I never really thought about what school I would want to go to for schooling in specific. Everything was kind of sports based, and then what school has what I'm looking for academically and a good sports team that fits me. When I was in high school, I wanted to go into college for civil engineering, and kind of with a wildlife kind of emphasis to it, because I love being outdoors and hunting and fishing and doing all that stuff. So I'd be going to school, but then in my free time that the 9-10 months of the year that I'm playing baseball, I'd probably be hunting and fishing and just hanging out with the family.
That's tight. I went to the
Yeah.
first time this past weekend. Or this past week I was in Arizona. Actually, I'll talk about that in a second. But I went to my to the Bass Pro Shop for the first time.
Yeah, they have a good
That
one.
store is crazy, dude.
Yeah, they have a good one over here.
um, I was actually in Arizona. I attended and talking about Major League Baseball and how it's a business. So I was at the Dodgers adult fantasy camp.
Right.
I don't know if you know anything about that
The
fantasy camps in
Padres
general.
are the Padres are having theirs right now.
Really? So okay, are you getting a
Yeah,
chance to like I don't challenge you. I hope you get a chance to see those guys and be around those people, man, because those are our fans, man. They appreciate the
yeah,
game. They love the sport, I think more than any other fan I've ever met.
right.
And they get a chance to fulfill like a lifelong dream as far as being around you guys and having the questions and the interactions and the rapport and just memories in a sense. So
Yeah, we were talking about that today. A few players and I were, it's just we talked about, it's expensive to do it. It's I think it was like 6 grand for the Padres one, and they were around the complex today using the MLB locker room, and a lot of guys were like, "Oh, I don't understand why they're spending so much money." So I like started to think about it, and I was like, "Well, we don't understand why they're spending all that money to do it because we're living what they're paying the money to do." So like we wouldn't comprehend it because we're going through it. Once we're older and probably similar age to what they are, paying to do the fantasy camp. We wouldn't have any want to do it because we'd already gone through it. But for somebody that hasn't gone through it and you know looks at MLB players and being like, well, what I would do to have a day in their life. It's they get an opportunity to do it, and it's pretty cool. It's hilarious to see a bunch of guys dressed up in the uniforms playing catch, and it's a lot of fun.
I'm so glad you can speak on it. I was able, like I said, to go support a family friend. Shout out Rob Swartzen. My boy Rob, longtime Storm fan and just baseball fan in general, where he attends those things yearly. And like, I was proud to see him compete and go out there and live his dream in a sense and be around ballers, dude. He was like Jerry
Yeah.
Harrison Jr. there, like you guys. And I'm over here as a fan geeking out myself because he's rubbing
Right.
elbows with you guys, and
Yeah.
he can speak on the clubhouse, atmosphere about the spread and whatnot. And I wish more people can see that side of it because that's kind of what I know. And
Yeah.
it really could shape somebody as far as like how they go about their career or their future, especially with the people they're around.
It does, yeah, no, and it absolutely like, especially for the fans too. I think it benefits them also seeing what players go through. Like, a lot of people kind of criticize the fact that professional athletes just get paid to play a game, but like really they get into the thick of it and they're able to see what we're doing every day at the field while they're getting ready for their games, and you kind of realize it is a job more than people think it is.
I think about your guys' sacrifices, man, because I see what I do in my life as far as not having the cameras on me or having someone always kind of micromanaging what I do when I'm not working.
Right.
Um, there's a lot of things that I mean, on the grand scheme of things, cannot do because it could jeopardize your job as far as your career, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Is there one more thing than another that kind of rubs you the wrong way as far as like, man, only if I could.
Really not, because I feel like, the main things that, could work in the wrong way for you in the profession is like, just getting in trouble. Like, I mean, I know that if you're getting paid a lot of money, and I know that there's some things, that some big leaguers have written into their contracts that talk about like, no skiing or snowboarding or wakeboarding or anything that could result in a bad injury for your season. But I mean, other than that, like they're really the only problems you're going to run into are getting in trouble for doing stupid mistakes. So there's not really anything that I look at and I'm like, I wish I could do that. I spending time with the family would really be the only thing that I'm like, man, I wish that I was home for certain events, be able to see the family, once every week or once every month. But that's just kind of how it is, and I think that especially my family, they've done a great job at understanding. This is what I do. I'm super happy with what I do, so I think it makes it a little bit easier on everybody. So
I love that. Supports everything, man, and family is everything as well. I mean, I've been guilty of. I mean, I've been working in professional baseball for 22 years now,
right,
and like minus COVID, it was the only year I didn't work on 4th of July.
right.
And like, thinking about those moments where you have your family, watching the fireworks, and I know you've seen it during the season where you're like, man, I wish my family was here with me. Those are the moments that kind of remind me or humble me in a sense that like it is a sacrifice because working in sports is a privilege.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
All right, well, let's not again, let's give some shout out to, oh, sorry, a question. Who shot the best on the links the other day?
um, so we've played 4 days in a row so far. We played on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we went a little bit earlier this evening. But on Saturday was when it was me and Merrill and Lesko, and we had all the guys. And I won that day. I shot a 78, and then I
Wow.
think Lesko shot a 84. Um, Ock shot an 88, and I can't remember what Merrill shot. It was a little bit of a rough day for him. He's actually, the funny thing is that he started golfing when we got to San Antonio, and he's been doing it a lot. and he's really good for the short period of time that he's been playing. So it's pretty surprising.
I'm not surprised. That dude he's a freak as well as far
Yeah,
as like competitive nature. He's a competitor. He's gonna go
yeah,
compete.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's in for sure. Oh man, how does Robbie's football background translate to the diamond?
So that's a good question. I feel like I kind of had to tone it back a little bit. I took pride in it a lot at the beginning of my professional career. Just like, I like to call it being a bulldog on the mound, and kind of taking every batter that steps into the box personal. And wanting to own the box and wanting to embarrass anybody that's in it. And so I would really just try and attack everybody and beat them with my best stuff, being my fastball and my breaking ball. But now I can still carry that mentality, but I have to pick and choose when to do it and really when to be a pitcher. Which I mean, requires feel and touch with the pitches that you're throwing. And, you can't really physically dominate anybody that steps in the box anymore. It's you got really good hitters that are in the box that are trying to do the exact same thing to you. So it comes with studying the hitters that you're going to be facing and really figuring out when you can be a bulldog on the mound and when you're going to have to pitch smart to guys.
Bulldog on the mound. Damn,
Yeah,
what a
yeah,
beast. I'm glad you got to share that because there are going to be kids listening to you one day. We're doing all kinds of community enrichment and inclusion events this season,
right.
um, which is going to allow kids an opportunity to learn straight from the resources that we have. So I'm glad you're sharing now because I would hope you continue to share what you learn to share with others, man, because it's truly a powerful thing, man.
Absolutely. I'm excited for it.
Robbie, okay, one more thing. Let's give MLK some more love. It's MLK Day, baby.
Good.
One more nice thing you want to say about what you're doing to use your platform to do your part to make this world a better place, like MLK wants us.
So I have a pretty cool story. So right before I left my home to come down to Arizona and start the season, I did a pitching camp with my old pitching coach that I had ever since I was 12. And so had a great camp with him. We had, what was it? We probably had 54 kids at the between the camp. We split it up from 11 to we ended at 3:30, and hour and a half sessions each, and it was a lot of fun. Just being able to kind of get one on one with the kids and have them ask me questions, me be able to watch them throw and kind of help them with things that I see right off the bat. And then it's also just cool for them to be around. It was me and another guy that was in the Guardians organization for a while. I think he got drafted in 2011 or 2012. And it's just awesome to see how happy it makes the kids. And you don't take it for granted, but you never really understand how truly happy they are just to be in your presence. You don't have to, you don't even have to say anything to them. They're just happy to be there and be around you and be learning from you.
Love it. Fire me up again. Fire me up again. Let's go. That's the guy
Yeah,
I know.
it
Robbie
was
Snelling.
it was
That's the
it
guy
was
I know.
awesome.
Well, good. I want you to keep that close to you, man, because those things matter. People who are listening can understand it, can appreciate it, can feel it, and the world needs it, man. And I don't mean to put more pressure on anybody, but that's just the reality and what's going on.
Absolutely.
We need to provide and do what we can to make this world a better place, given the resources we have. And baseball and sports is one of those things here with us today. And I'm so glad to hear that you're doing your part.
Thank you. And I mean, like I told you, I always know you're doing your part. So you're really the person once I got to Lakey that I gravitated towards the most, because you represented it every day and you made everybody know. So
Well, let's continue on that note. Let's continue to serve first in our own way. Using sports as our platform to give back, bring people together despite our differences. I know MLK would appreciate that. Obviously, with him challenging us to not look at our skin, but look at our hearts and what we do as far as our character. And I'm thankful that we can be here today, you and I, Robby, and our little podcast to share love and inspire others to do their part and continue to smile while serving.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right, we out of here. Robby, that wasn't too bad. We did all right.
No, that was awesome. That was awesome.
And I think next week we got Homer Bush Jr. on the podcast.
That's awesome. Yeah, he'll love it. He'll love that.
And we're out of here. So let's say goodbye. Happy Martin Luther King's Day. Robby, thank you so much, man.
Thank
We
you.
out. That's it, boys, ladies, whoever was watching. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Had a blast. We look forward to next week. God willing, beyond blessed. Homer Bush Jr. next week. Happy MLK Day. Let's go.